reasons that it took me so long to figure out how to do this was it kept breaking. It kept breaking every single time, or else it wouldn't pull it onto the wheel, or else it would pull it on too fast, or I'd over twist it, or I'd under twist it and it'd fall apart. I mean, it just, you know, when you sit and watch somebody do it, it doesn't look that hard, does it? Yeah, it looks like a piece of cake here.
What is the big wheel used for?
Same process, only instead of turning the wheel with a pedal, it's called a walking wheel, and you actually walk and turn the wheel by hand as you go. And turning the wheel causes the spool to twist, and same thing, only just with a much different method. That wheel over there, I was fascinated to come in here the other night to get ready for tonight and discover all of this wonderful old equipment here. And I don't know if you've all paid much attention to it or not, but I was fascinated by it. I thought, wow, isn't this fantastic? Did you put this here just for me? Because I was always talking. And my sister said, no, it's here all the time. And I said, wow. Okay, I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to see if I can spin this little bit of yellow that I just carded. Okay. Now, if I were to take a little piece of this is one of the things I do with kids when they come to visit the farm. If you just pull this, it just pulls right apart real easy. See that? Just pulls it right apart. Oh, nothing to it. But if you twist it first, and then you pull just as hard as I can, and I can't get it to pull apart. So that's really what gives the strength, is just the twisting. Isn't that amazing? Now, let me pass that around so you all can play with it. So, once I've got it on the spool here, I don't know if you could see that as I was spinning, it was accumulating on this spool right here. Once you've got it on the spool here, then you've got that spool full, then you fill another spool, so it takes 2 spoolfuls. And then you put both spools on the bottom of your wheel and put the 2 pieces through this way and fasten it on, and go the opposite way, and it twists together to make a 2-ply yarn. And I've got a sample here someplace. There it is. Of hand-spun 2-ply yarn. And I want you to compare that to the machine-spun 2-ply yarn.
Have you been to factories where they do the 4-ply, 3-ply?
I've seen the 2-ply done in a factory. I haven't seen 4-ply, but I'm sure it's just the same thing with just more threads being pulled together. So this is some of my early hand spun. It's not really great hand spun, but you can really see the 2 plies because I've applied together a gray and a white strand on it. So once it's plied together, then you pull this off and you use a niddy-noddy. This is a niddy-noddy. And you measure off your yarn into whatever yardage you want. Well, this particular, they come in different sizes. This particular one is 1.5 yards, and that is to say from here, over that, under that, over that, and under that, that is 1.5 yards. So in order to get a 150-yard skein, I do this how many times? 100 times. You have to count.
Which side?
Okay, so, and then if you get interrupted and you lose count, then you have to go back and, oh yeah, I've gotten so that I can do 80 to 85 almost without counting. So I just keep going and I can kind of tell when it's 80 to 85 turns, and then I count, and then if it's 86, then I know I've got to do X number more to 100. So I really only have to count to 15 or so. relaxing.
Oh, I
Believe it
don't
or
know.
not.
I forgot which way to do
Well,
really be a mess.
once you've got the first turn on there, it's just following the pattern. However, if you make a mistake like that, see how I made a mistake?
Yeah.
And you don't notice it, and you keep going, and you get to 88, and you say, oh my gosh, how far back do I have to go? You have to take it all off again. That's bad. That's bad. Okay, so this is actually how the yarn comes back to us in some cases when it's spun for us well, we have two places that we have our yarn spun. One is in Otisfield at Oasis Farm, and the other is at Friends Folly Farm in Monmouth. And they do a very fine job of preparing our yarn. And then often I dye it after it's in yarn like this, so that I can do that. I have a few samples of some items here that you might be interested in looking at. This is a woven scarf, woven from Hattie. Hattie is our sheep when they're born, and they're colored sheep tend to be very black at the time of birth. And the older they get, the lighter they get, so that they look brown, and then eventually kind of gray, and they get lighter and lighter, just like we get gray hair as we get older. But it only takes them 2 or 3 years to become gray. So if you want dark wool, you have to keep breeding more young colored wool. This is a pair of custom-made socks that I made for myself and hand-dyed. And this is with mohair blend. This is 50-50 goat and wool.
So where's your mohair from? The goat?
Goats, yeah, the mohair. Now that's an interesting thing. We have Angora goats. Angora goats give us mohair. It's not a mow that gives us mohair. Children often say, where's the mow? Well, not a mow, it's an Angora goat. This is a hand-spun potholder, and this is from an 1835 pattern. Wool is resistant to fire and heat, and so a potholder is a very good use for, and this is knitted in such a way that you have 2 layers in the center, and this being heavy hand-spun makes a very nice
So
potholder.
for 2 layers, did you use 4 double-pointed?
It's a trick. You use 2 needles, and you knit the 2 layers simultaneously as you go. Has anybody ever done that?
Yes, I've
Yes.
done it with mittens.
Yes.
Make the lining of the mittens at the same time.
Isn't that
It's
amazing?
really
It really is. It's very
You're
fascinating.
knitting one part and you're purling the other.
Yeah. Yeah. So you make 2 layers.
Are there patterns for that? Is there a pattern?
There is a lost line.
Well, that's too bad.
Beaches in Lewiston knows how to do it.
Now this is a bat. A bat can be used like in a quilt. Just think, or in a pillow. Make a lovely warm pillow or a comforter or a quilt. Bats can also be used for felting using hot soapy water, and you can make a fabric with it just with agitation and hot soapy water. You all know if you ever put a really wool sweater in the washing machine and agitate it, and then you know what happens. You get little bits. Same thing happens with this, only sometimes it's done intentionally to make warm article of clothing that's felted. So this is a typical color of one of our colored sheep. And we have, right now, I think we have more colored sheep than we have white sheep. Over-dyeing, over-colored is a lot of fun. You get really interesting colors. I wonder if I've got anything
You
here.
say with the darker sheep, you gotta soak a lot longer than with your white sheep.
Uh,
To soak your.
No, it's about the same. It's
Really?
about the same, yeah. Your end result just looks different because this is clean, but it's just colored. This is dyed with madder root, which is the root of a plant. I did mention you can do roots, but you take the roots, and it takes at least 3 years to grow the plant. Then you crumble up the roots and dry them and make them and pulverize them into a powder.